Hello everyone, the Army of Otters here, and welcome back to the Unexplored Capital Wasteland. Today we're going to be checking out Minefield, which I feel like is a pretty famous location in Fallout 3, but maybe not for everyone. This is a location I actually have pretty good memory of from my time when I played Fallout as a kid, mainly because of Arkansas, who is kind of the crazed sniper that oversees this entire neighborhood. And he will shoot you on sight if he spots you. So approaching from the north and then killing out Arkansas from an even higher point is probably the easiest way to deal with it. Now, as I mentioned, this is called Minefield, and as the name would imply, there are a lot of mines within this city, so you must be careful wherever you step. In total, there are 67 frag mines in this location, so you definitely want to be careful as you approach. So let's dive into the Minefield. And as you can see here on the map, Minefield is located kind of in the middle of the map, north of Bethesda Ruins and east of the German Police HQ, south of the MDPL-13 Power Station. Now, as you approach from the north, you're going to find a water tower with a random encounter. I encountered a Deathclaw that had extremely low health. I don't know why he had low health. He just did. But there's really nothing at this water tower besides it would probably have provided this town with its water during the pre-war era. Then on top of the building over here we can see Arkansas, and a well-placed 44 bullet ended his life. Now, rather unfortunately, Arkansas cannot be reasoned with, so killing him is the best option. That way you don't have to worry about being sniped or killed by him. There is a scripted event where if you approach on the road, he'll shoot a car, exploding the car. Obviously that could kill you, so killing him is your best bet at survival. Then I made my way down the cliff, which was actually pretty easy. And then there was a mine conveniently placed at the bottom of the cliff. So perhaps Arkansas had been worried about someone scaling down the cliff, such as myself. I then made my way over to the building which Arkansas occupied in order to loot Arkansas because he has an important key along with a sniper rifle on his body. On the second floor of the building we can find a bed, which probably is where Arkansas slept, along with some minor loot. Arkansas then was up here and we can take his key and sniper rifle, and then there's also some ammunition crates up here which provided some decent ammunition, especially for the sniper rifle. So nothing to complain about, pretty good loot. So real quick, I wanted to talk about Minefield and its history. So before becoming Minefield, this was known as Ridgefield, which was a small community in the post-war era. Obviously, the inhabitants were survivors or wastelanders, but sometime prior to the events of Fallout 3, Paradise Falls discovered the community and raided it and took several captives, forcing them into slavery. A small boy was the sole survivor, and that small boy was named Arkansas. So of course, young Arkansas wanted vengeance, and he would get it. He began to spread a rumor that Ridgefield had a new group of inhabitants, and then he booby-trapped the town using mines and took up a sniper post, and eventually the rumor spread to Paradise Falls, where they again launched a raid on the town. Only this time Arkansas was prepared. He opened fire on the slavers, with many dying to bullets, many dying to frag explosions, and then any other survivors ran off, and from then on, Paradise Falls enslavers avoided Ridgefield. And as Arkansas has grown older, he is still a very good shot. However, he will attack the player, even if the player has good karma or is a good person. And of course, the slavers at Paradise Falls still remember him, and he actually can be enslaved by the player during the quest, Strictly Business. So within Minefield, there are 4 explorable houses, and we can assume that these houses used to belong to the previous inhabitants. The first house we will explore is Zane House. Now, these houses have some pretty good loot. However, the doors will range from very easy to a hard lock. However, if you take the key from Arkansas, you can go inside any house without any trouble. In this first house, we can find somebody who may have killed themselves a long time ago. And then in the cabinet, there was a combat shotgun, and behind this cabinet is a locked safe, an easy lock safe, and inside is some ammunition, bottle caps, pre-war money, and sometimes if you're lucky, there will be a stealth boy. Then there's also darts riddled across these houses, along with first aid boxes, so a good place to stock up on some aid or some ammunition. In the upstairs, we have a very creepy scene with what appears to be a dead teenager, along with a copy of Pugilism Illustrated, so that's pretty good. And then also I wanted to point out in the hallway we have these plates. And I noticed this a lot in Fallout, where you have a plate, and while it's the same item, it appears bigger than other items of the same category or name. And then the next house we will check out is Benson House. There's a mine right in front of the door. There's nothing really in this mailbox besides a hockey mask. Inside, we can find a pretty disturbing scene upstairs. Also wanted to point out all of these houses have pre-war books. Now upstairs we can find a dead raider and a dead wastelander, so perhaps there was some kind of confrontation between these two people. Now you'll notice some dead raiders around Minefield. They were killed, assumingly, by Arkansas. So some interesting shenanigans going on here. Then in the master bedroom we can find a copy of the DC Journal of Medicine, and then also another pre-war book, and behind this dresser, a safe. And as previously mentioned, these safes will contain a random assortment of caps, ammunition, weapons, and hopefully a stealth boy. And then the next house we will look at is Gibson House. And inside Gibson House, we can actually find something pretty interesting. So obviously there's the dead raider, along with a handprint on the front door. Now within the office, we can find a copy of Tumblers Today. Then in the living room is what I wanted to talk about. We can find a very hard-locked model home. And inside is only junk food, buff-out, and pre-war money. It's not very valuable. However, it can also be unlocked with Gibson's key, which can be found on Gibson's corpse within the Capitol Post building in downtown Washington, D.C. And within the Capitol Post building, we can find the decapitated body of Gibson sitting with his head between his legs, and a note on the body that says "Search the House," which is identical to a scene in the video game Snatcher, created by Hideo Kojima, very famous game developer. And all of the names within Minefield of the houses, right, so Zane, Gillian, Gibson, and Benson, are references to the video game Snatcher. So obviously somebody at Bethesda probably had some kind of affinity for that game. So a pretty interesting Easter egg within Fallout 3. And then also within this house, in the master bedroom, we can find two bodies cuddled together on the bed, along with pre-war book and some Med-X on the nightstand. And then behind the shelves, we can find a locked safe, and again, the same kind of loot inside. And then the last house we can find is Gillian House. And inside of this house, it has been infested with rad roaches, so you're going to definitely want to take them out. I may have gone overkill here with the shotgun, but it felt very satisfying to annihilate an enemy in this game after kind of struggling for so long. And then in the master bedroom, underneath the bed, we can find the safe, just kind of hidden there. This one had a lot of bottle caps for me, which is of course nice. And in the kids' room, we can find a copy of Grognak the Barbarian. So lots of kind of decent loot within Minefield, and of course there's a lot of mines. And real quick, I wanted to point out that during the Wasteland Survival Quest for Moira, you have to come to the Minefield and you have to come to the playground, which is nearly in the center of the Minefield. And then you have to return to her. Now, for a bonus, you can bring her an actual mine from Minefield, and that'll make her very happy. Also, there are special dialogue options if you have high enough endurance, perception, or agility.
Oh, well, if that's all, I'll just study this and hope there aren't any more explosions, shall I?
And finally, I try to do some research to see if Ridgefield or Minefield was based on any kind of real-life location, as many locations in Fallout are. However, I couldn't find anything, so it just seems like something the developers put together, and they created a pretty devastating storyline in Arkansas. I always feel really bad about killing him, but I do think it's probably the best option to kind of put him out of his misery. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Unexplored Capital Wasteland. If you have any recommendations for the next video, please post them in the comments section below. And, as always, until next time.